Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Villa for the very last time. I've got some big news to share with you guys today. We have made the decision to sell the villa and we've found ourselves a buyer. So I'm back here in Bali, getting the villa ready for the sale. So this will be the very last video that you see coming from within Villa. In this video, I wanted to talk to you about, I guess, our reasons for selling, especially being that I've been so vocal about buying in Bali and with the guide and all the videos and stuff that I've made, as well as the, I guess, some of the ups and downs of owning the villa, a bit of the process of the sale, but then also, I guess, a little bit of what we've got planned next as well. So just over a year ago, they finished construction on the villa and we took possession. So it's been on the Airbnb market for about a year now. So we've got to experience a little bit of everything on the rental market, but also like a year of construction as well. So 2 years ago is when we got the actual land. We started the build process and we basically built what thought at the time was our dream villa. There's been a lot of ups and downs along the way, both with construction and also with the actual renting it out, which I'll go into a little bit. But yeah, it's been a journey, and it's been a journey I think that I've enjoyed, but it's also been very stressful as well. I went through my messages the other day, and in the last couple of years, I've sent and received over 15,000 WhatsApp messages. We've had challenges with the build bit running over a little bit. We've had challenges with construction next door, and you can probably hear a little bit of that in this video, as they're nailing the formwork together on the villa beside me, I can see. And that has definitely affected guest experience and has caused stress for both our management team as well as us back in Australia as well. But yeah, owning the villa has been a very unique experience. It's been very rewarding in a lot of ways, especially financially rewarding. It's still making a great income. So the return on our investment is still really good. I just want to stress that right from the start. It's come time to sell, and I'll explain a little bit of that now. So why did we decide to sell? That's the question that I've been getting a lot from both friends and family, but also on DMs on Instagram and Facebook as well. Is a lot of people asking like why we decided to sell, especially when we've been so vocal about investing in Bali and the returns that we can make and have made in Bali. And yeah, so I think it's good to get that out of the way right at the start. Basically, it's twofold. The first is obviously financial gain. This was always an investment property, always, right from the very start. The reason we initially built was we wanted an investment that we could one day retire to. Now, for the retirement part of it, we've decided we don't want to retire to Bali. So that part of it's out. The emotional part is out. We're not going to retire to Bali. We're going to probably stay in Australia retired and take trips internationally. There's just too much that comes with retiring to another country. It's fine for a lot of people, but for us, there's too much that is just like, it's not for us. So yeah, that's taken out. So the next one's financial gain. So this was always going to be an investment property. The real estate market in Bali over the last, I guess, 2 years has skyrocketed. When we bought in Bingin, when we signed our lease in Bingin, the land prices were incredibly low. So I think we got this one for around about 72,000 Australian dollars for 30 years. Now, if I was to find a similar plot of land in Bingin now today, that would probably cost me over 200,000 Australian dollars for the same period of time. So in just 2 years, it's gone up almost threefold, just the land prices. And that's not even including construction prices as well. I think that's the same everywhere in the world. I think construction prices have gone through the roof, and I don't think you can build anything as cheap as what you could 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not going to go into the exact numbers purely out of respect for the buyer. I don't know that they would want that plastered all over the internet of what they paid. But I guess from our point of view, we can make the same amount by selling right now today as we could by renting the villa over the next 10 years. By selling it today and reinvesting that money, after 10 years, we'll be a lot better off than if we were to rent it and invest that money over the next 10 years. I actually made a spreadsheet covering an entire 30-year time frame with different scenarios if we just kept the villa, rented it, and invested that money. If we sold the villa, paid off our mortgage and invested the rest. If we sold the villa and invested everything, just to see the different scenarios and how they play out over 30 years. And so I knew the exact crossover number of where it made financial sense to sell the villa. And we hit that number. So we got an offer that was over that number. So over 30 years, we're going to be significantly better off by selling the villa right now than we would by renting it over the next 30 years. So, I mean, if you take emotion out of it, then it's a no-brainer. It makes no sense to keep the villa long-term when we can make that sort of money right now. So yeah, like I said, the real estate market in Bali has been going absolutely nuts, and like it's actually really hard, especially in Bingin, to find a villa that's already been completed. All around me there are developments going up, and they're already for sale, and some of them have already sold out before they've even finished building. So if you were looking for a villa in Bali that you wanted to step right in the door today, then there are very few around. The other reason that we could push the price a little bit higher was our villa was unique. And I've said this before, if you're going to build in Bali, don't build a cookie cutter villa, build something that's unique, that is going to stand out from everything else when you're looking on Airbnb. So if you're looking on Airbnb for a villa and 5 or 6 of the same villa pop up, you're probably just going to select whichever one was at the top, which means that those other 4 people that own those other 4 villas are probably not going to get the kind of income that they should be getting had they built something unique and not just bought something off plan. I mean, off plan is great, but you are going to be leaving money on the table by doing it that way. I guess to put that in perspective, because we have a very unique 2-bedroom villa, I think it was almost the most expensive 2-bedroom villa in Bali, or it would have been close to it, would have been up there by a significant margin. And part of that is because it was already completed, but the other part of it is because there was nothing else like it on the market. And we did that intentionally. We knew that we wanted to stand out from the crowd. So because we're only on 300 square meters of land, we could have put 3 villas on this. We could have put 3 1-bedroom units on this 3 of land. But we chose to put 1 2-bedroom villa on it, and which is unheard of in Bali. And that basically separated us from the rest of the crowd. So if you're planning to do it, if you're planning to build and sell, definitely do something that's going to separate you from the rest of the crowd. Don't copy another design. Like you're gonna end up losing money by copying another design. So yeah, I guess the one thing I wanted to talk about was the lessons that we'd learned in this entire journey of building the villa, renting the villa, selling the villa. I reckon the biggest thing you need to learn is patience. You need to be very adaptable to the things that are going to change around you. Things are going to happen that you have no control over, but will make you want to tear your hair out. Especially, I mean, for us right now, that's the construction going on around us. So we ended up erecting a giant fence along our back wall to stop them being able to look in. But that took time. That took a couple of weeks for us to sort. And it took money, but the money wasn't the big. I mean, giving your guests the best experience possible is important. Also during the build, when things were running behind or when things weren't going right, and you've got no control over it, you can't. But you also can't be placid. You can't sit there with a smile and say, "Oh, that's okay, no worries at all." You have to be firm, and you have to actually say what you want done. Otherwise, it just won't get done. But yeah, you need to have a high stress tolerance if you want to do this. I want to get that out of the way. I don't want anybody to think that it's been like an easy journey that's all been rainbows and unicorns. And I think we've had probably one of the better, easier journeys out of everybody that I've spoken to. I've heard some absolute horror stories of what people have had to go through in their build. I've got friends at the moment who have been lumped with extra charges, and not small extra charges, big extra charges, because their builders either forgot to include something in the quote, or prices have gone up and they've just decided to pass that on even though they've got fixed price contracts. So yeah, it's a high stress, high reward environment. So yeah, definitely if you're gonna do this, make sure that you do have that kind of stress tolerance. But it is really rewarding, like coming in and standing in the villa for the first time when it's done, when all the construction is done, all the workers are out, all your furniture's in, and seeing how beautiful it looks. it's very rewarding. And then obviously financially rewarding when you start to get those paychecks coming in from Airbnb. That's really good too. Like we've made a good amount of money over the last 12 months on Airbnb. Maybe not quite as much as we had anticipated, and that's mainly due to the construction next door. We had to lower our prices a little bit because, oh, and we were also fully transparent about that construction. We had put in the listing that there was construction next door and there might be noise, but it also meant that we had to lower the prices. So we had to lower our expectations a little bit in order to get people in the villa. And there is sometimes noise, like the guys are hammering next door. It's 8:30 in the morning, so they probably should be waiting a little bit longer before they do that. But I mean, I don't have any control over them, do I? But yeah, let's talk about the actual sales process, and that's the fun part. So selling a villa in Bali is really easy. We basically I contacted a few agents just to get an idea of what was going on. In the end, we went through Property of Bali. They're a great agency. The staff there have been really good. We started talking to Peter, one of the owners, and he was amazing. He talked me through the process. He explained everything about taxes, everything about commission, the sales process, everything like that. Sales process is actually very similar to the sales process when you actually get the land. So they obviously were showing people through. We got an offer, we found a buyer, and then from that point, it pretty much goes through the same process as the land. It goes to a notary. The notary does the due diligence. They make sure that all of the paperwork is like correct and up to date and current. They make sure that they write up all the contracts. They make sure that both me and the buyer are happy with those contracts. And then we will go to the notary in a couple of days and sign everything. They'll pay me and we both walk away very, very happy. So there's obviously more to it than that, and I will be updating the Villa Guide to explain like the entire step-by-step process. But yeah, it's very simple, a lot easier than somewhere like Australia where you've got stamp duty and things like that. But I guess to give you a bit of an idea of the costs involved, the agents take 5%. That's pretty standard, I think. That was the same commission that I found from everybody that I spoke to. Everybody said 5%, so that's normal. With the taxes, it's going to depend a little bit on how you structure it. We can sell this as a development. And what that means is you split it up into 3 invoices. So you have the land invoice, you have the building and construction invoice, and then you have the furnishings invoice. The land invoice is taxed at 10% if you have a local tax number, or 20% if you don't, and that is payable by me. So the owner of the villa currently pays all the taxes. So the land tax at 10% because I pay tax in Indonesia, so I've got the tax numbers. So I pay 10% on the land. The building and construction can be anywhere between 4 and 6% depending on the value of the construction contract. I believe ours will be about 4% tax. And then the furnishings, which is all the furniture, the curtains, all that sort of thing, that doesn't get taxed at all. So, and I guess that's the advantage of selling off plan rather than waiting until your permits come through, because then if you waited till your permits come through, then everything would be taxed at 10%. But yeah, so that's a bit of the sales process. I haven't actually gone to the notary to sign yet. I assume it will be easy. If it's not, I will update this part of the video before I release it. But yeah, I guess that's a bit of an overview of why we've decided to sell, a bit of the process. And yeah, I guess the last thing is what's planned next. So we're going to take a little bit of time away from Bali. Like I said, it has been a bit stressful. I'm going to sit back for a little bit, but I'm going to be keeping my eye out on certain areas because I think that Bingin has just about peaked. I think a lot of the popular areas have just about peaked. So Bingin, Uluwatu, Canggu, Ubud. I think you can still make good money here. I think you can still make really good money here, actually. It's especially with rentals, and especially if you can find something unique that's in a good location. But there's a lot of other places that are still not quite on the radar yet that I think are going to be the next boom areas. Places like Balangan, Melasti, Nyang Nyang. I think Candidasa is going to be a big one. I still think Ahmed is a good option, even though it is really, really far north and it's not easy to get to. I see Ahmed as being probably 5 or 10 years away from being a really popular place. So I think that I'll be keeping my eye out there. But yeah, our Bali journey isn't done yet. We're still going to be keeping an eye out, and we'll probably get land and build another villa at some point. And we'll be taking the lessons that we learned building this one going forwards and removing all emotion from it. But yeah, on that, obviously we've done it all. We've now done it all. We've bought land, leased land, we've built a villa, we've rented it out, and now we've sold it. And so if you're thinking of doing the same thing, I have made a guide to building a Bali villa, which I will be shortly updating with a guide to building and selling a Bali villa. The link is down below if you want to pick up a copy. It's only $100 to buy. It contains all of the information that I've learned along the way, both good and bad, and it will help you take the steps to do this yourself if that's what you want to do. I've had a lot of people buy it now, and a lot of people have said that it's really helped them, especially the part with all of the details of all the different vendors that we've used over the years, over the last year, and like even things like furniture manufacturers or like where to get kitchen utensils, things like that. It's stuff that we spent a long time like running around Bali trying to find all of these little things that you don't really think about. But yeah, if you want to pick up a copy, the link is in the description below. Yeah, but for now, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Thanks for joining us on this Bali journey. It won't be over. I will be making Bali videos again when we decide to build in Bali again. It might be a little while, though. So for the moment, it'll go back to my normal videos, travel stuff, camera stuff. The Bali stuff will probably stop for a little while. I'll probably make a couple more little Bali videos just about our experiences along the way, but the Villa Rava chapter has finished. That's closed now in our lives, and I think that's it's sad to see it go, but it's a good thing. It's going to set us up for a very long time. It's going to give us a chance to do some plans in our life that we've been wanting to do for a while. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I really hope that all of my Bali content has been useful for you. If you are interested, pick up a copy of that guide. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.